Solo travel for older women. Will you be lonely? I can answer that question, but I don't think you'll like my answer. Watching the kaleidoscope of radiant colour as the sun met the horizon, emotion rose because I looked around and noticed I was the only solo female. But I can say that in all my solo travels, that was the only time I can ever remember feeling lonely. My solo epic treks. I started my solo travel at 18 years. 2 years travelling UK and Europe, 50 years of age, 7-week backpacking solo through Italy, Greece and the Greek islands at 68 years of age. 16 months solo backpacking through 10 countries in Europe and Asia. And this year, at 74 years, I will do 3 months of solo backpacking through Vietnam. Now add to this, what about 7 years full-time solo house sitter? So it's safe to say I've done 1 or 2. I've earned my stripes as a solo traveller. In this video, we look at what does solo travel actually mean? You will have your own definition. Please write it in the comments. Then we look at 3 life-changing reasons to travel solo. In this segment, we'll do a deep dive into a communication skill many women are not aware of that would change how they communicate. Then finally, we do look at, will you be lonely? And I give you my answer. First, what does solo travel actually mean? Well, you could just say it's someone who travels without a companion, someone who travels as a single person. I quite like this definition of solo travel. What do you think? Solo travel is a journey of self-discovery where you are physically and emotionally away from your culture and from your family. What else does solo travel mean to me? No responsibilities. Yes, you have the responsibility to be a good human and you have the responsibility to look after yourself, but that's it. You don't have the responsibility to look after, in that moment, other members of your family or friends or any issues that are brewing where you normally live. Also, no expectations except for the ones that you set for yourself, because solo travel is all about you. So no expectations. You don't have to live up to what others think you should be doing on that day and over the entirety of your trip. No demands. This is a really good one. And the interesting thing about solo travel is that you find out in that solitude of self just how many demands you place on yourself. No spitting, of course, no spitting of the dummy, and absolutely not recommended if you're in an Asian country, because if you're spitting the dummy at someone else, an Asian national, then you've made a big mistake because you've made them lose face. No drama, except for the ones that you create by your reaction to what's happening in your travels. So no drama is a big one. And no cage. Perhaps you don't think of your life at home or your normal environment as being in a cage. Many people do. When you are solo traveling, you break free of the cage. So why is all of this happening? In search of self-discovery. And I really love Marianne Williamson's quote about this. It takes courage to endure the sharp pains of self-discovery rather than choose to take the dull pain of unconsciousness that would last the rest of our lives. Thank you, Marianne Williamson. Exactly how I feel. It is uncomfortable to find out about yourself when you are solo traveling, when you've got no one to hide behind or to do things for you. You are the one you've been waiting for. Three life-changing reasons to travel solo. And the first life-changing reason is to experience, to escape the terror of tedium. No amount of security is worth the suffering of a mediocre life changed to a routine that has killed your dreams. Maya Mendoza. The joy of experiencing things like this. Perhaps the terror of tedium does not describe you. Perhaps you describe your normal environment as stable and comfortable, tad uncomfortable at times, but you see it as being comfortable. Then you are not someone who really wants to venture out and experience what the rest of the world has to offer. I have a friend. She is one of those women who has everything. Stunning home filled with art pieces, antiques. She drives a rather gorgeous little red convertible. She has her perfume, her shoes, her jewelry, her clothes, skincare, virtually anything that she wants, she has. So what do you give a friend like that who is about to turn 70? That is a tough one because they've got everything. I don't know if you know anyone like that. Well, my answer is to give them an experience, and it doesn't have to be a big one. An experience, something that you've thought of, that you thought they would enjoy, and something that you can enjoy with them. So what is life-changing about experience as a solo traveller? I do not know anything else that will enable you to truly discover who you really are, what you really enjoy, what your dreams are. Yes, there's lots of chills and thrills in experiencing life as a solo traveller, but those experiences stay in your heart forever and keep you young. Go. The second life-changing, express. And by the way, in this segment, we do a deep dive in how to be heard. You can express yourself in many ways. It doesn't just have to be the words you say, although that's what we're going to focus on mainly in this video. But you can express yourself by could be the colours that you wear. I don't know if you guys have guessed that I absolutely love colour. But seriously, when talking about expressing yourself, as in talking, how is solo travel life-changing? Well, as older women in our normal environment, when we're interacting with our parents, if they're still alive, with our children, if you're still talking to them, with friends, with your group or club members or your colleagues, when you are interacting, expressing yourself with them, that comes with a whole host of expectations and demands and life history that guides us and guides them in how to respond to us. How do you express yourself when you're with your parents? Do you find annoyingly that you seem to drop back to being a kid again? And they're your parents who are now in age, although you can respect them, if that's what works in your family, certainly you don't want to feel like a child and respond like a child when you're with your parents. How about when you're interacting with your children? How does that work? Do you keep your personality beige? Do you tone down your enthusiasm and natural joy for things because your children get embarrassed? Well, I've just shared with you that I am not beige, so I have to confess, my children have a tough time with me sometimes. Shared history dictates how freely you can express yourself and how you can be who you really are and not feel like you are living in that cage of limitations. I have good news. The joy of when you travel is you have left that cage, those limitations, those expectations, those demands behind you. And here you are, opening yourself up to a whole new, life-changing experience as you express yourself. Truly, it can be a bit scary at times, but then you will find your way and you will feel good. I promised a deep dive into communication skills. But who am I? I can hear you say, who am I to share with you leadership communication skills? I call it leadership because I know we are all leading our own life. We are way showers. But let me tell you how I can confidently share this information with you. Over the decades, I have hosted, facilitated numerous private events. Over 50 still fabulous when I was, over 60 still fabulous. Things like Get Into the Driver's Seat. Such a lot of fun. And I am the founder and CEO of the Australian Institute of Leadership. For over a decade, I delivered training to private, to business, to government departments, even to defence, because it is about beliefs. Do you believe that you had the power to change the landscape of your life? You absolutely do, unless you've given that power to someone else. Let's do that deep dive into how to be heard. There are 3 distinct steps to this. The first one is to say what you mean. That seems obvious enough. The second one, mean what you say. The third one, without being mean when you say it. Well, that looks pretty simple, doesn't it? There's no issue with that. Surely. I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, there are issues with communication styles, particularly with these 3 steps. Now, I have trained over 15,000 business participants, and I can confidently come to you and share what the biggest obstacles are to being heard. Looking at these 3, where would you say women go wrong? Which one of these do you think that they would not be clear on? I've just given it away, haven't I? It's absolutely number 1. Say what you mean. Now, hang on. Surely women are saying what they mean. What do you mean they're not? That they're doing this step wrong? Fascinatingly enough, there is this preoccupation, I guess, with being nice. I encourage you to look up what the word nice originally meant, and you may not be so obsessed with being nice. It is also because I'm not saying men aren't like this, but From what I've seen, generally it's women that like to soften the words that they use. They don't want to be seen as aggressive. So they actually use words, use softeners, say it in a way that is not clear, expecting the person who's listening to do a mind read, to know exactly what you mean. I hope you notice that I'm saying what I mean. If you do not say what you mean, there is no way you can mean what you say, because your communication is not authentic. You've hidden the true meaning for fear of the other person perhaps getting angry. There are many reasons why women, not all women, but I think you'll agree, many women do not say exactly what they mean. Therefore, you cannot mean what you say because the true meaning of your message is hidden. So I hope you're getting this, because it's so important, because you definitely cannot then do the third one without being mean when you say it. So why does that happen? Well, step one, you didn't say what you mean. You expected the other person to know your favorite color or what you like to drink or what your values are, what was important to you. Because you didn't say what you actually mean, then you couldn't have authority or strength or resolve or be authentic to mean what you say. Now, they haven't heard your proper message. Here you are. Let's say you're the mum. Here you go again, nagging. If you've ever been accused of nagging, then you know exactly what I mean. What happens next is that you get upset. And so you respond and interact with them in a way that is nothing but mean. So it's clear that it is so important for you to say what you mean. Honor yourself by having that clarity in your own mind about what you mean to say. Because if you don't have that clarity, you don't communicate it clearly, the other person will not have a clue, because they are not mind readers. Express as a solo traveller. I have to tell you, I found it scary at first. I found it scary that I had to be authentically me. Evolve, the last one, to evolve. I see evolve as a solo traveller as shaping our destiny rather than in the same rut. Oh, by the way, do you know what the definition of a rut is? A coffin with the ends knocked out. I thought you'd appreciate that. I love Marcel Proust's quote. The real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. This is so true. Yes, I love to seek new landscapes. What that means is I come back to Australia as well with new eyes. I see everything anew, and I am open to beauty. It's there. It's in the garden. It's in the parks. It's on the beach. It's wherever you choose to see it. And it can be anything. It can be my first experience with Badger, who is an Egyptian cat. I'm sure you picked that one up. It's such an affectionate cat. Then just being in awe of the beauty of a simple photo like this, and sitting as you're doing your daily journaling and reading the book and admiring the craftsmanship of the person that every single day stands behind the coffee machine, still takes pride in what they do by creating crema art. I'm impressed. Solo travel gives you space for reflection, to experience joy, to see with new eyes. How does solo travel help with to evolve as a solo traveller? How is that life-changing? As I've already said, you find the space to experience, to see things you've never seen before, to find out who you really are. You cannot return home and be the same person. It's impossible to see how other cultures live, to not look at them with superiority, to feel human warmth for them, to feel the unity of humanity. That, to me, is to evolve, to step outside of your shell, your sometimes very uncomfortable shell of your environment. Is loneliness part of solo travel? Yes! Now, that's the bad news. It absolutely is part of solo travel, because you will so often be with you. And the thing about travel is, wherever you go, you take you with you. It does all depend on your definition, though, of loneliness. I like to call it this: authentic solitude, the ability to find contentment, introspection and joy when left alone with my thoughts and my feelings. So I love this authentic solitude. But I know your real question is, will you be lonely? Because, as already said, because you take you with you everywhere you go. And if you are lonely at home, a resounding yes, you will be lonely on your solo travels. Even so, if you feel the yearning for solo travel, regardless of the mindset definition you have of it being lonely, then just pack your bags and go. And keep in mind this wonderful mindset change that you are very able to complete, to finish. When you take that first step into your first solo travel journey, what an epic adventure you are going to have. I leave you with this one last thought. If you are lonely when you're alone, you're in bad company. Jean-Paul Sartre. Oh my gosh. Please, whether you are wanting to take your first solo travel adventure, or whether you are a seasoned solo traveller and you just like to find out what I'm up to, what mischief I'm up to, then please watch this video next.